My question is, which freezes fastest in a refrigerator? Hot water, room temperature water, or cold water? My hypothesis is if the 3 cups are left in the fridge, the hot water will freeze quickest. First, I got 3 identical cups, each with their own label. The cups were all filled with water 3 3/4 centimeters high. Then I will put the cups near each other in the refrigerator and wait for an hour or so. After an hour, I will conclude which cup froze fastest in terms of frigidness. 2 hours later, the cup that was originally had hot water was the most rigid after an hour. And the conclusion is that hot water often freezes faster than other degrees of water.
Does oil float on water in different temperatures? My hypothesis is that if the water is at different temperatures, then the oil will still stay on top. I get 2 cups, then I fill the 2 cups of water. Then I put 1 cup into the fridge and it becomes cold. Then I took it out of the fridge and the room temperature cup oil is on the top of the cup. The oil in the cold cup is also on the top of the cup. My conclusion is that oil will always stay above water no matter the temperature.
What objects float or sink in freshwater and saltwater? If an egg can float in saltwater, a bar of soap can float too. First, I made a cup of salt and fresh water and labeled them. Then, I took an egg and put it in the cup with fresh water. I took that same egg and washed it and then put it in the cup with salt water. Keep in mind that yes, I did log the results of these experiments. I then did the exact same experiments with the exact same cups of water with the soap. After logging the floating and sinking with both the soap and the egg, I see that all the tests that the egg floated in, the soap floated in, as well as both sinking in fresh water. I come to the conclusion that if something heavier than the other can float in salt water, then lighter objects can also float in that salt water, vice versa with the fresh water.
Question. How will atoms float or sink in different kinds of water? I will be using salt water, sugar water, and to put in. If M&Ms float or sink in regular water or salt water, then I will know which one is the most dense or least dense. Conclusion. The M&Ms sank in all the water. Does food coloring and salt mixed with water evaporate with the water? Hypothesis. If I mix things with water, they will not evaporate with the water and they will be left behind. The first thing I did was put 1/4 of a cup of water into 3 cups of water. I left 1 cup as just water. I put 3 drops of food coloring and stirred it into cup 2. In cup 3, I took half a teaspoon of salt and mixed it into the water. I left the cup for a couple of days, then came back to observe. Finally, I saw the results of what was left behind after the evaporation, and the results were the salt was left behind in the cup and the food coloring left only a blue stain in the cup.
I'm going to see how a gummy bear dissolves in fresh water versus salt water. So let me just prep the water really quick. I'm putting in 2 tablespoons of salt, table salt, nothing special, in salt water cup. I have 2 red gummy bears. We're gonna see how they dissolve in fresh water versus salt water. Okay, so one day later, the salt water, I don't know if I can get the gummy bear out, but it doubled in size and feels way more flexible, I guess. I don't know. And then in the water, it got even bigger and is clearly more breakable, but I got even bigger. But I'll wait another day. Okay, the results is this is the 3rd day. This is kind of just to see what happened. The fresh water broke into 2 pieces and tripled in size from the last time we saw it. Oops. Salt water, it just broke apart, but is not nearly as big as the freshwater. The freshwater gummy can absorb more water, so therefore the saltwater gummy can't really absorb as much water as the freshwater can.
Question. Out of the 4 types of water, which one will taste the best? Hypothesis. That polar spring water will taste the best. The blindfolded water challenge or test, basically. Now I'm doing this for a science project. And the 4 bottles I have are filtered water, carbonated water, which is basically seltzer, tap water, and just a regular water bottle. And now I will be testing. Taste the filtered. Tap water. Let me know what the other one is.
What was that?
It was bottled water.
Okay.
That was carbonated water. And then I just did the full water challenge, the water bottle challenges, or the water challenge, and thank you very much. As a result, tap water, in my opinion, tasted the best. Question. Do Orbeez grow better in water or Gatorade? Hypothesis. If I grew an Orbeez in Gatorade instead of water, will it grow bigger or at all? I put 2 Orbeez in Gatorade and water. I checked on them each day and I waited for 1 day to see the differences in size. Then after 1 day, I took them out of the water and Gatorade. This one right here on the left is the one in regular water. This one on the right is the one that was sat in Gatorade. The one in the middle is the regular ones from the package to show comparison. As you can see, the ones in the Gatorade shrink, and the ones from the water also shrink a little bit. But throughout the progress, I saw the ones in the water did grow
but then at the end, they shrank back. Conclusion. Orbeez can't grow in Gatorade because they shrink and get sticky.
How would water with food coloring impact the way the flour would change color? Hypothesis. If my flour drinks colored water instead of plain water, then it will change colors. I bought white flour seeds from the store. Then I made a colored water mixture. I watered both of my flowers every day. One with fresh water, the other with colored water. I observed the two flowers for 18 days to see the growth. The flower watered with fresh water looks healthy. However, the flower watered with colored water is growing healthy but is slowly changing colors. Conclusion. Flowers that drink colored water will start changing colors rather than growing normally.
Which will evaporate more quickly, fresh water, salt water, or slightly salty water? Hypothesis. I think that salt water will evaporate the quickest, then the slightly salty water, then the fresh water. First, I poured the same amount of water in 3 identical cups and placed them on the place where sunlight can't come in. Then I poured a full spoon of salt into 1 cup and the half amount of it into another. And then for the next few days, I observed the 3 cups and took pictures. After observing, I realized that the cup with fresh water was evaporating the quickest, then the slightly salty water, and then the salt water. Here are the pictures from day to day. Conclusion. Fresh water evaporates the quickest, then the slightly salty water, and finally salt water.